crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Yo, what's good, people, what's good? This is your host, Rasta B. This is In Black America Radio, and this is a Saturday, October 15th, and today's topic, we're pretty much just going to recap again and expound more on yesterday's show, and the title is In Black America Radio, breaking down Netflix documentary 13th, and we're going to be talking about today's condition. Some of the topics that I'm going to be bringing up, I'm going to bring up the whole Little John addressing Donald Trump, calling him an Uncle Tom. I'm going to talk about Haiti and the whole cholera situation with Haiti. I found that YouTube clip, if you remember from yesterday's show, I was saying there's a YouTube clip. If I can't remember the name, I have the name. We're going to talk some more about Hillary Clinton, obviously, and various other topics today. Oh, and I'm also going to read some excerpts from The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. There's a portion in there I wanted to speak on that really expounds on really the mulattoes, and I think it will give us a better understanding of mulattoes and why you see a lot of mulattoes standing up for black affairs. But as always, before I continue, we bring in the co-host, Smoke. Smoke, are you there?
Yo, what's good? What's good?
Shit, what's good, man?
Shit, man. Big Saturday. That's about it, man. Nothing, man. Just flexing, relaxing.
What's good on your
light days, you heard? Huh?
So what's good on your side?
Same old, you know what I'm saying? Just happy, good to be off for an off day, you know what I'm saying? Nothing major, though. You know what I'm saying? A slow day. For the most part and shit.
Yeah, I checked out that 13th again today with my brother and my lady and shit. So we was watching that today. Man, I ain't gonna lie, yeah, that's a hard documentary to watch, yo.
Yeah, I peeped that joint too earlier.
Yeah, that's a hard documentary to watch, man. Because like I was telling my lady and my brother, I was like, that whole documentary is my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Minus the 70s, but from 1980 up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that shit's hard to watch. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're constantly telling people this shit throughout your life. The motherfuckers looking at you like you tripping. Like, that's not true. These things ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, it's real out here in the field, pretty much, you know? So I watched that again.
That shit was crazy.
And I was able to bust down my 20-year theory again. See, you got to when you watch it, then you got to let me know when you see it, right? But what happened is they start breaking down the years from 1970. 1970, Nixon started the war on drugs. 20 years is what?
The 90s.
Right? So
the 90s.
From 1970 to 1990, the incarceration went from like 300,000, 350,000 to like $1 million and some change, right?
Yeah,
in 20 years.
I think it was 1.1 million.
Right, but that's the 20 years from the start of the war on drugs, right? That's 1970. 1980 with Ronald Reagan, he started the incarceration. You see what I'm saying? He started with the sentencing, like the mandatory sentencing and shit like that.
The mandatory minimums.
Yeah, like all of that shit, the mandatory sentencing. He started that in 1980, so that's another 20 years. You dig what I'm saying? And literally, from 1970 to 1990, it went from 350,000 to 1 million or some change, and from 1980 to 2000, what is it? 80 is 2000, right? From 1980 to 2000, that shit went from, let's say, 500,000 arrested to 2 million in a 20-year span. And that's what I'm saying. Every 20 years, like every time you check their history, and you check and you look at the years, it's 20 fucking years. And I told you, we coming to a 20 year right now. We coming to it. 2020 is going to be another 20-year era, another 20-year cycle.
4 years.
So, yeah, so we got to get prepared for this. That's why this whole election should be so important.
It was crazy how like I went from like the incarceration, you know what I'm saying? Well, first it was like they were saying in the documentary how they tied the hippies to marijuana, and they tied the black people to heroin. You know what I'm saying? And they started using that criteria, whatever the word is, to kind of like profile blacks, you know what I'm saying, as heroin dealers, users and shit like that, and pretty much criminalize the black community. And then the next step was coming in, filling up these prisons, you know what I'm saying, through that propaganda that they set up. You know what I'm saying? And then they spoke on how now it's going from, instead of locking people up, it's like more they making money off of the probation and parole side. With cats getting out, they getting monitored, and how they're going into monetizing that. So it's like going to be a future of people walking around with ankle monitors on. You know what I'm saying? And like they making money off of the monitors and everything else in between. That goes with that. So that's crazy, man. It's definitely something everybody should watch. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely something everybody should be watching.
Everybody should watch that shit, especially if you in your 30s and shit. You know what I'm saying? Or your 40s, because that's your era. This is your era, so you can understand. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, that shit. Every time I watch that shit, that's a hard watch. Because remember when I told you when I was talking to Tashawn, and they was like, "Yo, how the '80s was?" I'm like, "Damn, the '80s, shit, man, I feel old, right?" And I told him, I said, "Yo, that shit was hard, yo." I said that shit was hard. I said, "Yo, it was literally a war against black people. Like, if you didn't live during that time, you can't even imagine what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even imagine that shit. Like, it was literally a war on black people. Like, we're sitting around, and next thing you know, it's a war set on us, and we don't even know what the fuck is happening. And we feel it, and we see it. And you just watching black. I remember saying to myself, man, I remember when I was a kid, used to hear, oh man, Go over there, holler at them girls. Don't you know it's 1 to 5, the ratio. It's 1 to 5. Every 5 girls to 1 guy. And as I got older, that shit was like 1 to 8, 1 to 10, 1 to 15. And now I'll see these little silly-ass niggas, and they'll be laughing. The ratio 25 to 1 out here in Atlanta. And I'm like, that's not something to celebrate. You got to wonder to yourself, where are the rest of these black men? Oh, I don't give a fuck where the black men is. That's more woman for me. Nigga, if we getting sniped out, if we being taken off these streets, that's a concern that we need to have. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, because like I said, I didn't grow up blind, deaf, and dumb. I grew up with my eyes open, so I used to literally listen to the see the transformation. And I'm like, yo, we are under attack. Black people just walking around. And I'm just looking like, yo, we are in the middle of a war. And we don't even see it. But we are literally...
I ain't grow up conscious, you know what I'm saying? Looking back on that time, you know what I mean, I could have that, you know, outlook. But, I did see, like, the changes. All of that was obvious. You know what I'm saying? Just how, like, drugs came in. You know, I remember going to school and you see, like, crack vials and all that in the playground. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just going from that point, you know what I'm saying? Just watching TV and just seeing, like, the violence, like, just crazy killings, you know, especially in New York, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you definitely saw that change, and then going into the 90s, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you know, I when you look back on that time, it's like, you know, you know what was going on during that time. You know, the introduction of drugs in the community, and everyone knows, you know, the outcome of that and how that turned out, you know, the black community.
That shit was some cowboy shit. Remember the Jump Out Boys and all kind of shit like that? Like I don't even know if I could even explain this shit to my son.
Yeah, it's like the war on drugs that was planted in the community.
Hear what I'm saying, bro. Hear what I'm saying. Imagine telling your son that on Tuesdays and Thursdays or during election time, you had to really watch your back growing up as a black youth in America, because police would come down and do a whole sweep and take a whole group of black men out the community. Like wrap that around your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, you telling this shit to your son that police could look at you, and if you get eye contact with the police will tell you, come here, put your hands up. Where's your ID? You got any guns and drugs on you? Put your hands up, I said. What you got in your pocket? And it's like, Dad, what you mean? Back for Martin Luther King? No. In 1990-something, in 2000 or something. Like that shit trippy. That shit trippy as shit, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
To understand the war that was raised upon black men of our era. That shit is bugged the fuck out, if you really think about it. But a lot of us don't like to think about it, so we'll just move on and move forward and push on and things of this nature. And that's why we always end up stumbling and getting caught up in the same traps over and over and tricks over and over again, because we don't want to face it. We don't want to say to ourselves, yo, this is an attack. No, I don't want to say that. So we're just going to individualize it and make it like it was just Mike Brown. No. This is an attack. You know what I'm saying? And that shit is so fucking stifling, yo. It's like, yo, it's just fucking amazing, yo. It's crazy. But that documentary is deep. I would definitely say that.
Yeah. Also, like, what they spoke about was...
Wait. Let me get this caller real quick. from 845 number. Hold on. 84559. Yeah, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Jason Reed. I got my boy Rock on the phone. I was just telling him about that documentary. He hasn't peeped it out yet though, so I'm trying to have him watch it and shit. Hello, Rock, you still here? Yeah, but
good.
I definitely want to give you guys my input on that documentary. And you know what's crazy about that documentary? There's a part in the documentary, I was just telling my boy that over the phone right now, how they got these dudes in the prison system working on high-tech equipment. Like some of these dudes are working on Pentagon, like weapons. Some of these dudes are working on like high-end technology stuff that in the outside world, they want you to have an engineering degree to have these jobs, yet they're willing to train inmates with a 4th, 5th, 6th grade education to
I think they said they were doing that in the feds, like in the federal
for 10
prison.
cents an hour. Yeah, for 10 cents an hour, but yet these same inmates, when they get out of jail to apply for these jobs, they're like, I'm sorry, we can't hire you. But wait, wasn't I doing this job for you? And I did it very well in the prison, but now you want to hire me and pay me 6 figures to do it on the outside world? Tell me that's crazy, yo.
Exactly.
That's fucking crazy.
Exactly.
Yo,
and they got
the system is a fraud, man.
Yeah, they got a documentary called Billions Behind the Bars. They got something called Billions Behind Bars, and they talk about how, they got the inmates making Harleys, farming fish, tilapia, all kind of stuff through the privatized prison, because that's through profit.
That's crazy.
So this whole slavery system that's set up, that's what created America. So there's no way in hell they're going to get rid of that system. You know what I'm saying? And that's you got to watch that documentary too, brother, because it ain't boring. It ain't something you're going to sit there and watch and be like, oh my God, this is dragging or nothing like that. Nah, that shit is like the timeline. And unfortunately for us, it's probably your whole life talking about it. When all these bills and laws was enacted within your lifeline. And it's like, what they're doing to black people is criminal. That shit is criminal, yo, straight up. You can't even get around
what I realized, too? You know what I realized, dude? I feel like this whole Trump thing is a distraction of black people. Like, it's trying to keep us, like, not focused on the real issues. Because if you notice, politics has become more entertaining than anything. They're not even talking about serious shit anymore. Like when you watch this political shit between Donald Trump and Hillary, I ain't gonna front. I asked most of my friends, did you watch it? Guess what? 99% of them said, I watched it because I wanted to be entertained. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And I'm like, are you serious? So people are actually watching this whole political shit go down for entertainment, because guess what Donald Trump is? He's an entertainer.
Yo, this is selection at its finest, my nigga. Like when they say, you know what I'm saying, that we don't really pick who wins and stuff like this, this is selection at its finest. They showing you how they're handpicking Hillary and putting her right in that office.
Yeah, they handpicked him because Bernie had the most interest by the people, and they showed they got the document with a whole
yo.
Yeah, they had this whole shit set up where they wanted. The whole shit is Hillary's time. That's what they keep saying. It's her time. At first, her time was during Barack.
Yeah.
They let Barack in there, and they said when Barack won, they said to Hillary, "You're next." Nobody peeped that. They said to her, "You're next." Just to show you that this whole shit is designed how they want it, you know? But
yo, when Obama got in the office, yo, I told everybody, the first time he got in, I was like, yo, Obama's going in there for the second term. I was like, yo, when Obama's done, Hillary's in there for her 2 terms.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how
that's like 8 years ago.
See, I'm curious to see how it play out. For me, I think Trump's going to get it. I still think so.
Nah, he ain't. He's not going to win it.
See, the only reason why I say that is because if you follow the pattern from Lyndon Johnson up, there never been a 3-term Democratic Party. It's always been.
Yeah, but Trump's not gonna win it. Trump's not gonna. Because they set it up the way they set it up. Trump can't win it, yo. You gotta remember, first of all, Hillary might. If everything plays off right, Hillary, she could possibly get that Obama formula. Like, if Obama could run for president again right now, right? If it was legal, nobody can ever beat Obama. It's impossible to win. Like, you're not gonna outvote every black man across the map. Every black man that all says together, we're all like, yo, look, we gotta go out and vote. You know what I mean? Like, so like with Hillary, if she gets that shit where every Spanish motherfucker want to go out and vote, yo, that goes on top of all the white motherfuckers that's voting for her. Every Jew in America is voting for this bitch. You feel me?
But nobody.
Especially Jews. Jews will die hard.
No, the Jews are going to die hard.
Believe it or not. Ask a Jew. Jews love Obama more than black motherfuckers do. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know that. They put him on the cover of one of the magazines as the first Jewish president and all of that stuff. But when it comes to the whole Hillary thing, you got to remember, if you remember during the that Gore-Bush election, they had Gore, everybody had the same energy, Gore-Bush, for that 2000 election.
Your phone is like going in and out. Your phone going in and out like the mouthpiece.
Yeah, I said it's the Gore, you hear me?
Yeah.
Gore-Bush election for 2000. Everybody knew Gore was going to win, and they looked at it like Gore got this. At the end, Bush came in, you know what I'm saying? So that's my whole thing. I'm trying to
I'm going to keep it 100, yo. I'm going to keep it 100. This is one thing I was wrong about, yo. I told everybody, like, yo, two summers ago, when this, everybody's entertaining this Trump shit and all that, I told everybody, I was like, yo, look, I don't give a fuck what y'all think about any of this shit on TV. I was like, I guarantee you, I was like, believe me, at the end of the day, it's Hillary versus Jeb Bush, right? Yo, I ain't gonna lie, yo. I thought Jeb Bush was gonna be going up against it, but yo, this guy Trump was such a fucking maniac. He fucked up the Republican Party for them. So he pushed Jeb right out of there. You know what I'm saying? Making Jeb look like he a bitch.
See, but I've been saying Trump was going to get it when Jeb was still in there. because I heard Trump say if he don't win the nomination, he's going to run as a third-party candidate. So I said, oh, he's going to get the nomination. Because you got to remember, when Trump is really the person that pays the politician. You know what I'm saying? He's not supposed to be running. He's supposed to be the one paying them. So when I saw that, I said, oh, he know all their dirty secrets. He know all the behind-the-scenes stuff. I said, yeah, he's going to get that now.
Trump is like best friends with the Clintons, so I don't know why this motherfucker, this politics. Yo, I'm going to tell you a secret, yo. This is the thing right here, right? Yo, when Trump first got his little hype, you got to remember, Trump was trying to run for president last time around, right? A while ago. And what happened when he was trying to run for that? He didn't get to lace his shoes up. He didn't even make it out of the locker room, right? It was a joke to everybody. Everybody was like, it's funny. Have a good day, right? So then this time around, Donald Trump runs for president. Magically, what the media does is the media wants to play with everybody's head. Instead of letting motherfuckers make a choice for themselves, the media wants to come out and say, "Oh man, Donald Trump is not he's not what do you call it again? He's not what's that word you're saying again? Politically correct. He's not politically correct. He's not politically correct. He says it how it is, and you know what? I think people actually like this. So everybody in America wants to consider it because the media says, I think people actually like this, right? So then after that, they do the polls, which I don't know whose fucking house phone they call because I don't have a house phone, and anybody I know who has a house phone in New York, they never got a call about no poll anyway, right? So now they got these fake-ass polls that are saying, oh, Trump's in the lead when he's not in the lead. You keep saying Trump's in the lead, you made the man get in the lead because everybody started flocking to him. Everybody who was Republican is like, oh, you know what? I'm going to fuck with Trump because they're hearing them say Trump has a chance. And, everybody likes what Trump's saying, and Trump's the guy right now, so everybody's jumping on it. So the media did that. And now the media's turning around. The media knows, all right, we fucked it up. Now we got Trump. He's the easiest guy to really sabotage because now that we got him in there and we got all these other guys, these people that could have beat Hillary, we got him out of the picture now. These other guys couldn't really beat Hillary. They know that once they get Trump in there, once they sabotage Trump don't stand a chance against Hillary. Trump knows this. They got a video of this motherfucker talking about what was that yesterday? The video talking about the little girl going up the escalator. Oh, the 10-year-old girl. Oh, she looks good. That's your daughter. She's gonna be she'll probably be my girlfriend in 10 years from now. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit ain't gonna fly with people.
Nah,
you see that video?
I ain't see that video.
That was a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, I heard about it, but I ain't see the.
Yeah,
I heard about it, but I ain't.
And the crazy part is,
the Daily News had that on there.
Yo, here's the crazy part is, to tell you the truth, I think Trump might be in on the video because at the end of the day, first of all, it's a video of the escalator. You can't even recognize anybody up the escalator. It's mad dark. It's mad far away. It's like I'm like, first of all, how did they have this video? Why was this video back in the day? Like, yeah, I'm starting to think like Trump was just like, yo, they're like, Trump, all right, here's your duty, Trump. You're gonna say some real sick shit on this tape. We're not gonna make you sound like a pedophile, but you gonna make you borderline of it. You know what I'm saying? This the same guy, yo. You watch the video comment. This guy wants to fuck his own daughter so bad. You know that?
Yeah, but see, my whole thing is this also. You got to remember the media. At the same time, the media controls shit. So this whole thing is also a distraction because if you put Trump on one side of a piece of paper, Hillary on another side, draw a line down the middle, and you say, what's your issues with Trump and what's your issues about Hillary, you're going to see all the Trump stuff is emotional. And all the Hillary stuff is real life. You'll see a lot of stuff about the Mexicans, the groping pussy and all kind of shit like that. But when you hear people say what my issue is with Hillary, they talking about trade agreements. They talking about mass.
But let me tell you something, right? But look at what Trump, right? The media right now is trying, right now the country's like trying. They're trying to be fair, right? Because we all know, like, you know what I'm saying, this country technically could be like, you know what? Fuck it, we about to upset the people. We about to fucking dishonor the Constitution and kick this nigga out, right? They could do that because technically they can have an argument and say, you know what, some of the shit he said, I don't give a fuck. We're not going to let nobody run the country with some of the shit that he said about people, right? But the thing is, so what they're doing is, they're doing, it's a desperate attempt right now. You got everything. You even got Obama going on there telling everybody, like, yo, we can't let this guy get in there. Like, America, that's like, you know, right from wrong, don't let the guy get in there. Like, we're doing shit that's, like, unheard of, right? So at the end of the day, when they're doing this shit, they're trying to give them a fair shot. They don't want to just kick him out. But what they're going to do is, what they're doing is kind of unfair to the guy because they're kind of cheating right now. And he's not going to win because of that. And when he's booted out, the country's doing it in a way where they can say, yo, look, we did it fair. We allowed the guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even when the Republican Party was like, yo, look, man, like, he won the vote, but we're not going to let him in. The Republican Party let him in. And then, you know, and then the country, the whole country in the whole is going to say, yo, we all let him in. We gave him a fair chance. He didn't make it. The media knows what they're doing right now. So right now, hey, you know, this guy's so sloppy. All you gotta do now is before you big him up. If you big this guy up, now he has a chance. Now he's going to be him versus Hillary. But they know once they get a guy like him versus Hillary, Hillary could beat this guy. But Hillary can't beat the other people that are running. Hillary can't beat fucking Rubio or the other guy. I forgot the other guy's names already, but they know Hillary can't beat those other guys.
Yeah, they got the Kevin guy, Cruz, Rubio.
Cruz, that's what it was. Cruz, Rubio, and believe it or not, even Jeb Bush, Hillary can't beat none of them. But that's the whole point. That's why they hyped up Trump, because they're like, yo, if we can get Trump to move these guys out of the picture, yo, this guy Trump cannot beat Hillary once we're done with Trump. Because all we got to do is remind people, like, you got to remind them, like, yo, let's remind people he's not a politician. He knows nothing about politics. This guy's a lunatic. He's an idiot. He's a mess. He doesn't know where to start. He doesn't even know anything about politics. You don't even know the guy probably barely knows how the judicial system works and all that shit, and a presidential system works. You know?
Yeah, but at the same time, you ever heard of the silent majority?
Yeah, but he's not gonna get it. I'm telling you.
You ever heard of that concept, the solid majority? That's the group where everybody's saying same thing that happened with how Bush got in. Everybody says we don't want Bush in, but when they get behind that booth, they voting for Bush. And then when he wins, they say, Who voted for Bush? Nobody I know. And it's like you start to scratch your head trying to figure out how they got in, but it's the same people that's telling you that they didn't vote. So it could be a lot of people that's saying, you know what, I'm going to ignore all the stuff that Trump is saying on an emotional level because we need the seats. We need that judge in the superior courts, Supreme Court. We got
true. But what's hurting Hillary? What's hurting Hillary though is, I had a handful of people tell me like, I had a lot of people tell me like, look, I ain't voting for nobody.
Yeah. That's the
like the
fact
Haitian community too. Haitian community, a lot of people from the Haitian community told me. A lot of the Haitian community was like, look, I'll never vote for Trump. At the same time, they're like, I'll never vote for Hillary for stealing all that money from Haiti.
Right. They still have a messed up history in Haiti.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's what's going to mess her up. Nobody's going to come out for Hillary. We came out for Barack, but we're not coming out for Hillary. So then you got that factor. Then you got the factor of whites that will vote for Johnson or the Libertarian. Then you got the other factor that's like, you know what, I'm not voting at all. So she really got the uphill battle because on Trump's side, them crackers like, we coming out. So that's why I say, that solid majority is a factor.
If Trump gets in, right, this guy would be the one guy it'll be the first guy in a long, long time who's not part of this family. Because you got to remember, every president except for two is related to each other. They're all related to one king in England. That's all. They all share the same great uncle, and from England. So I don't know, because remember when they did the genealogy shit, right? All right. First, what happened was when Obama was in there, right? They were like, "Aha!" We found out somebody was doing a little genealogy, the little DNA history on and family tree on Obama, and isn't it funny? We found out he's related to Dick Cheney, right? Then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, it was, ha, ain't that funny? We found out this motherfucker's related to George Bush. Then all of a sudden, they're like, you know what? This guy is he's a chosen one. He's a sixth cousin. He's a cousin removed 6 times from Abraham Lincoln, right? Then they had this girl, this little white girl. I think she was a white girl. This little girl goes home, right? This was like 12 years old or some shit like that. She goes home doing some type of project. She comes back to school and discovers that every last president except for 2 are related to the same king in England, right? Now, the funny shit was when they did the genealogy, all of a sudden they're on TV like, ha, isn't this funny? You mean to tell me Obama's related to Brad Pitt and Hillary Clinton is related to Angelina Jolie? You see how this shit going?
Yeah. Now,
you see how this shit going?
The only thing with that is we don't know that
cousin Hillary's next. Cousin Hillary's next, bro.
On that factor, I can't dispute that. But I also can't dispute
when she comes in, they're gonna be like, Cousin Hillary, come on in, cousin.
See, but they say the same thing with Aquarius too. They say because of the sign of Aquarius, she coming in, and you know what I'm saying, or something else like that. So it's like she got her little factors too. That's in numerology, I think. So it's like she got her factor that's showing that she might be able to come in too. So at the end of the day, we're not gonna know until November. And I know we're gonna do a show in November, and we're gonna do that shit live because I'm still gonna ride out to the end. You know what I'm saying, and say that I still think Trump. I don't trust America.
Yo, bro,
you
I'm so convinced Hillary's gonna be in there. Yo, I got no doubt in my mind Hillary's the next president of the United States.
Man, I feel like y'all gonna be feeling like the white people when Barack became president. I think we're gonna be feeling like
I don't want Hillary
though.
I tell you, I don't want Hillary or Trump, yo. I don't think none of them gonna do anything for black people.
Yeah.
And I think our best bet was with Bernie Sanders. That's the guy. I think Bernie Sanders truly has love for people.
Yeah.
You know why?
I mean, me
you know why?
personally, I
if
feel like
you ever see Bernie's history?
Nah.
Yeah, but you ever see besides Bernie going for president, you ever see how Bernie gets down? Yo, this man fights for anything that's wrong. This man fights his ass off. Like, yo, I seen a video a long time ago. This is what really convinced me about Bernie at one point, yo. I seen a video a long time ago, right? It was Bernie Sanders. This is when, like, you know what I'm saying, early on in the election, right? Yo, it was a video on World Star titled Bernie Sanders talking to an empty house, right? Yo, my G, this man sat there with nobody in that room, dog, still going on about the problems of poverty and what's going on in the black community. This motherfucker's going hard. And you could tell this motherfucker got this thing with him where he's trying to figure out, like, yo, what's going on in this fucking world, yo? What's going on?
Yeah.
Why is this poverty like this in this country that we live in? Why is black folks going through this shit? Like, you feel me?
Right.
Like, you could tell he really has a love. Like, I seen a video the other day. You know another video I seen the other day? That's how I tell it, yo, this motherfucker really cares. Yo, right now in the they're putting this shit in they're putting a type of antibiotic in cows right now, right? And the antibiotic they put in cows, if you drink their milk, it'll one, they say it's not the best thing for people, and two, they said it's affecting the economy in these certain areas that he's in I think it was Vermont he's talking about. I think he was talking about his hometown, whatever, in Vermont, right? Or whatever areas he's talking. He's talking about a few areas. He says it's actually affecting the economy because they said it could produce so much milk that people are running out of, like people can't keep up with the economy because it's producing way more milk than you need to produce. You know what I'm saying? They said, like, we have a surplus of milk, and then this on top of this shit's making milk, making you duplicate, like being able to make a mass quantity of milk in a quantity that's so massive that's like there's no point, right? So it's like you're fucking up the economy. So this man's going hard. You know what I'm saying? And these other dudes are sitting here, you know what I'm saying, at the meeting, like the other dudes are sitting here in front of the council, they're sitting here not giving a shit. But like you could see like this dude's passion, like I could see like, yo, you got to see this man when nobody's looking, when the media's not looking at this man, you got to see his record. Like for instance, when he was protesting, they were like, oh, you never protest, Bernie, that's a lie. And then all of a sudden they come with the picture showing this man getting arrested, literally in handcuffs, getting dragged away.
Nah, he did. I seen that story. I saw that picture. Yeah, I did see that because I wouldn't have mind seeing like him and Elizabeth Warren or some shit like that who want to always, she like to bust up the banks and all kind of shit and things of that nature. Yeah. That would have been good. Cause that's the reason why Hillary Clinton didn't grab Elizabeth Warren as her VP, is because Wall Street was like, we ain't fucking with you, Hillary, if you do that. And that's why she ended up getting campaign. So it's like, at the end of the day, black people, we got to do for self anyway, regardless who's in. You know what I'm saying? But my biggest fear is a Hillary Clinton win means that this whole pro-blackness is going to stop. I feel like a Trump win, the bullshit that's going to come with that, we're going to stay on our toes. Yeah. And we're going to keep fighting and keep keeping our money in our black banks and trying to pro-black, stay black and things of that nature. Hillary win, I feel like they're going to make black women feel like, the woman is in, and then they're going to calm down this movement. And then it's going to be business as usual. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's my whole thing. You want to know what Hillary is? Wait, hold on. Wait, we got another call. I'm just going to put you on hold and I get the other caller, and I'll just click back in the second, all right? All right, caller 864. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Peace, love, and black power. This is Equine News. I'm calling from South Carolina. What's going on? What's going on?
All right.
Go ahead, man.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, Mike. What's going on with you tonight?
Nothing much, brothers. Cause I guess we are about a month out from our election, and
right.
And that's definitely something that I separate myself from, because I don't participate in any. This is the first thing. The white man, the cracker, he created and designed this system. Like, this is since the beginning of him creating and designing this system. He always created it to exploit nature and exploit the great things within nature. Even when the brother was talking about them actually working the hell out these cows, you understand, to get milk.
Mm-hmm.
And after, even with me going to a holistic doctor, the holistic doctor encouraged me and told me that 85% of black people shouldn't be drinking milk anyway. And these cows are creating milk for, calves that are, they weigh some good pounds. And we are not of that family, but at the same time, it's something that we definitely have joined on to use. But I just drew that line to show the beast that we are dealing with. And I just don't trust. It's hard for me to trust any system that he has created: educational, medical, judicial system, the legislative system, any of his systems. The voting system, right. It's hard for me to trust that, even after we as black people, we spent a lot of our time, our resources to go out to the poll 8 years ago, all for us to sit here and have to spend our resources that we aren't making here in America. We having to spend that to go to protests from Charleston to Charlotte. We having to go up to fucking D.C. to have another Million Man March and to still be in a place where America don't fuck with us. And it ain't a thing where we, and I think what it is, that they're using this as a survey. They use these elections as a survey or a poll to probe the thinking and the minds of the people that they are using. Because us as black people, we still own the buying power. We spend over $1 trillion a year, okay, on some of the most senseless stuff, all right? And as the brother was talking, it's up to us. Hillary Clinton ain't gonna damn do it, and I definitely agree with the brother, because with me having no participation in the voting, I would think that if Trump was elected, that motherfuckers would kind of be on their, you understand, on their beam, because every nigga that I know think that if Trump get elected, they going back to Africa. So it's like, boy, and I'm like, well, shit, to me, y'all, I'm like, well, that might not be a bad idea. Let's make this cracker roll out some shit where we can, if we want to have the opportunity to go back here, I want to go back. I'm getting tired of fooling around with this thing, and I think what they're doing is just actually probing the participation of our people. And as much as the United States of America has shitted on us, and talking about reparations, because nobody, even when we talk about Bernie Sanders, I think Bernie Sanders say we are not talking. He don't want to talk about no reparations. And if you're not trying to correct the things that were done to black people in the past, I could care less about your whatever you're doing in office, because that's what we've been hurt from the past. And until they heal that within this, which they would never do that. They aren't talking about doing that. So, they're going to constantly make a fool of us, belittle us, even though we are the biggest spenders on this. You would think that they will roll out some stuff for us to keep some money in our pocket. You understand? We still facing high unemployment and all kind of other stuff that we have to, like I said, we have to spend our money rather than into our children's education. Now we have to spend money into protests, and we're going out here. This is things that are actual. We have to spend money. I know a lot of people that might be in the Black Lives Matter movement. They might be in Charlotte this week and in And then, you know, they have to pay their resources for this. Our money can't go to our children's success because we're still living the remnants from the 60s. We're still running like we were in the 60s. Yeah. So, like I said, and for what I'm seeing, y'all, like the brother was saying, it's going to be up to us. If we don't take the collective effort as a black people to connect to who we were and what we were robbed from, because there are a lot of niggas over here right now that still insist that they are free. They insist that, everything is going, Hillary Clinton is going, no, Hillary Clinton ain't going to fix shit for you. You understand? So I think we're constantly, nature is just kicking us in our ass and making us remember who we were and come up with some logical solutions that are going to work for black people to promote and, you know, sustain black power.
That's right. And that's what we need to be focusing on 24/7. Not sometimes, not only when we're being attacked, which is all the time. We have to breed that into our children that you don't have time to play games. You don't have time to be hating on somebody across the street. We have to prepare ourselves because we're in the middle of a war with the white community. You may not see it, but this shit is psychological and physical. They physically killing some of us and psychologically affecting all of us. And one thing that we need is an economy. We have to build an economy. And we have to be economically empowered instead of just spending. Because if we're saying that the power is money, and we're spending our money, that means ultimately we're spending our power away. We have to be able to let this power stay and not be spent and really build within our, you know what I'm saying, become our power so we can pay politicians and we can buy land. And when the recession happens, we can buy up a lot of property for cheap and expand our community. Like the Mexicans do, like the Jews do. They'll sit there, collect their bread, and when the economy get bad, they'll start buying up property. And then when the economy get better, you're like, damn, I didn't know this many Mexicans was over here. I didn't know the Jews already took over here. Now, same thing with the whites with gentrification. Gentrification is nothing but white people now moving into black cities at cheap rates so they can take over the voting power over there and get you out. Now, Atlanta's about to be a white city. So we have to do something because sitting around thinking that doing the same thing over and over again, working within the system, listening to the system tell you how you should act within the system, and you think doing that that's not gonna work. We have to recreate a whole charter of such, dictating how we move, how we act, what it is that we need to do. And then we pass this on to our children and our children's children, where we're building us as a people and as an economy, as a community, so we could compete with white business and Chinese business and, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. For example, we have farms in America, black farmers. Now that America is in business, have Cuba, good ties with Cuba, black farmers could be doing business with the Cuban government, sending food to the black population over there and getting that bread and having that international shit. The whole, you could not just the black population over there, but what I'm saying is there's a huge black population over there too. So it's like we can be doing business internationally with one another. But we have to change the way we look at ourselves. We have to change the way we look at life. We got to look at ourselves as a nation, not American, not trying to kiss the white people's ass. We have to look at ourselves as a black nation. The same way people look at Latinos, the same way we look at Jews, the same way we look at white people, we have to look at black people the same way. We have to look at ourselves as a people. We have to look at ourselves proud. We have to look at ourselves with pride, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we're one people. We can't look at ourselves like we're individual scattered people looking at every other group with envy and jealousy. No. We got to look at ourselves with pride because that's how everybody else look at us. Everybody else envy us, and we sell ourselves cheap to everybody because we don't know our value. And because we sell ourselves cheap to everybody, we sell ourselves to people, and then they take our pieces and sell it to somebody else for fucking 12,000% higher and making killing off of our talent. All because we don't know our value. So, you know, there's a lot of changes and stuff you got to do. But,
hey,
Smoke, you got anything you got to say, brother?
No, I'm just letting the convo flow, yo. I'm just letting the convo flow. But I mean, it is about you know, building it and moving, you know, as a unit, you know, as a people. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have too many agendas at times, you know, where it's like, you know, a group of us want to do this, a group of us they want to vote Hillary, some of us are not voting, you know, so we have, you know, a bunch of different things. So yeah, we definitely have to more focus on, like, you know, moving as a group and you know, having one like mind, you know, it's when it comes to like politics, you know, finances, and, you know, building an economy.
All right, so watch this. So yesterday I was talking about Haiti having the...
Before you got
right?
another caller on there, there's another call on there. You want to take that one? Or you know?
No, there's no one thing. There's
okay,
no question one.
cool.
Yeah, so this is the thing I wanted to show right here. So remember I said about Haiti, I said Haiti got the cholera, and they were saying how they had done traced the, you know, the cholera and shit like that back to France and one incident, things of this nature. So I just want you to hear this little clip. This is what I was listening to the other day. This is Andrea Mitchell from MSNBC. The title on YouTube is Russia is Trying to Influence 2016 Race. Again, the title of it is Russia is Trying to Influence 2016 Race. And it's the Andrea Mitchell, MSNBC. So take a listen.
The first joining me is Senator Edward Markey of Massachusetts. Senator Markey, thanks for...
How that sound, Smoke?
Okay, so far.
All right.
Very much. This has been an extraordinary period, obviously, in politics. What do you make of the allegations, particularly about Russia's involvement in trying to influence the election? We see today Clinton emails, the Clinton emails, the Podesta emails, stolen, hacked, do disclose a lot of...
Donald Trump has no plan on anything that he has articulated thus far for the American people to be able to decide. He's like the first PR man, Elmer Wheeler. He used to say, sell him the sizzle and not the steak. So that's what he's been able to get by with throughout the entire Republican primary process. He thought he was going to make it all the way to the finish line, but the more people focus on his disease and his ability to explain his views to the American people on these massively important issues that are going to determine the fate of...
I wanted to ask you about your trip to Haiti. I know you just came back, and the devastation there is beyond belief.
No, there is a tremendous problem in Haiti. Because of a United Nations mission in the year 2000, they've had 800,000 cases of cholera and 8,000 deaths over the last 6 years. This hurricane is only going to, unfortunately, worsen that problem. So in order for us to be able to discharge our responsibility, for the United Nations to discharge its responsibility, because we are the ones who introduced cholera into that country 6 years ago, We need to massively flood that country with antibiotics, with vaccines, with water, with everything they're going to need in order to successfully deal with this problem. And long term, and by long term I mean in the next several months, we need a massive program which the United Nations announces to go in there and to help them rebuild their healthcare system, their water system, their public health system in order to deal with this cholera program. Unfortunately, the world has a huge obligation to Haiti. We have, as a world, not discharged that responsibility. This hurricane, once again, focuses the world on its moral responsibility to deal with a crisis in cholera that we, believe it or not, we, the Western world, actually created in our country.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for...
Yeah, see that? You heard that, Smoke?
Yeah. They're going to flood it with antibiotics.
Nah, they're saying that because they infected Haiti with cholera. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he's saying. He's like, yo, y'all know y'all infected it with cholera back in 2000, and it's still here. Y'all ain't do nothing about it, and it's still killing people. Y'all acting like y'all don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's basically what he's saying. Like, like, come on, that's a damn thing. Come on. Y'all know, like, we on the West, we doing that shit to Haiti. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that shit is criminal. All this shit is criminal. That's what I'm saying. The shit that's going on with black people is criminal. So we can't sit there and keep looking at this shit individual, looking at it like it's just black Americans. No, this shit is fucking from South Africa, damn, America, England, fucking everywhere, wherever black people at. You know what I'm saying? We all dealing with this shit, especially if you're around a lot of white people. You're dealing with this shit. So what happened is, if we don't take this shit serious, basically, eventually, I ain't even going to be the type to say we're going to fall, but it's like we're never going to grow. I'm not even going to worry about a demise. I'm just talking about never going to see glory again. You know what I'm saying? That's my whole shit. So I done talked about the Haiti part, so I wanted to talk about this right here. Did you hear about this? Donald Trump calling Little John and Uncle Tom?
I missed that.
Huh?
No, I missed that.
So look, they got the story, right? So it goes, the title is Little John addresses Donald Trump, Uncle Tom remark on The Apprentice. So it goes, yeah. Little John released a statement on Friday night to address allegations Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump called the rapper Uncle Tom during production on season 13 of The Apprentice. When this Uncle Tom incident happened on Celebrity Apprentice, this is a comment from Little John. This is what he put on Twitter. When this Uncle Tom incident happened on Celebrity Apprentice in the boardroom, several of my castmates and I addressed Mr. Trump immediately when we heard the comment. I can't say if he knew what he was actually saying or not, but he did stop using the term once we've explained its offensiveness. I also want to be clear that I don't agree with many of the statements Mr. Trump has said during his current run for president. Basically saying he's a Republican. Little John. Yeah, so that's Little John, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's Little John. They saying on Friday the Daily Beast published a report alleging that Trump called Little John Uncle Tom when he saw him dressed as Uncle Sam as part of a segment on the show. Let me read that shit again. On Friday, the Daily Beast published a report alleging Trump called Little John and Uncle Tom when he saw him dressed as Uncle Sam as part of a segment on the show. We kept trying to explain to Trump that that's not a word you can use, that it's offensive. And then they claimed Trump campaign spokesman. It was simply untrue. That's fucking hilarious. That is hilarious.
Trump, man. They keep it's like they just come in with the the barrage of stories that's like, him just pretty much being like loose at the mouth, being a loose cannon, you know what I'm saying, pretty much. Like you don't know what to expect of him. He's unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? It's just like you just seeing the barrage of it. Like, because how long ago was they saying this happened? This wasn't recent.
Talking about what, the Little John shit?
Yeah, like when he was on Apprentice. That wasn't this year or whatever.
Let me see. Season 13.
I just found the story here now. I don't see it, and it says season 13, so whenever that, whenever that is. But it's just like, here come the stories. Here's the story of the, him and the 10-year-old girl, like the first caller mentioned. Yeah, just the group, all the group and shit. Just all of the stories that's just fitting in with his overall character that they're painting of him. You know what I'm saying? As this, season 13.
2013. They said
2013.
They said the All-Star Celebrity Apprentice, or the Apprentice 13, is the 6th installment of the reality game series, which premiered Sunday, March 3rd, 2013. Yep, and it does say Little John, LaToya Jackson, Claudia Jordan, yeah. Yep. So this is the 2013. But my whole thing is this, like I said, with the whole Trump thing, everything that they're pulling out for Trump is what? Emotional stuff. It's emotional.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? It's just emotional. It ain't got nothing to do with fucking running the country, budgets, taxes. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, people not paying attention that he's endorsed by the FOP, Fraternal Order Police. So you already know he's going to be cracking heads. You know what I'm saying? So that's my whole shit. It's like, yo, that's going to keep black people up. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Put your money in the black banks. We got to buy black, support black. We need to get these black businesses up. We got to support ourselves. We got to do for self. We have to build that economy. We got to, because, yo, the white fucking economy, they're already showing us what it is. It's time for us to get our shit together. My whole concern is Hillary, when, like I said, black woman cheering with white women, says, yay, the woman's in the White House. And then everybody go to sleep. And then we get trapped again. But hold on, well, we got another call.
What?
314-578. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yo, what's up? This brother St. Lou from St. Louis. What's up, brothers?
All right, peace.
What's going on?
Yeah, the cloud. That's cool. Hey, right on, though. Hey, yeah, okay. So it's a lot that I want to say, but
cool.
Okay, I heard y'all talking about voting. Okay, like you say, this is my vision. I don't think none of them gonna be president. Now, I'm gonna say this again. I don't think none of them gonna be president. Now,
okay, yeah, you gotta break that down.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Because if you ever, first I'm gonna say this. If you're in y'all buy a computer, Google when Obama got re-nominated for president, and he came out to this stage to give his final speech. And if y'all ever trip off of it, the crowd was, half of the crowd was cheering, half of the crowd was saying, "All hail King." This was back in 2012. I know this sounds crazy, but if y'all ever can Google that clip and watch it and hear very closely, half of the crowd will be cheering, half of them would say, "All hail King." Now, I heard that back then, number one. Number two, we also in the days of prophecy. We also in the days of prophecy and the days of war. So understand that what's finna happen, we ain't gonna even be prepared for it. Number two. Three, okay. Nah, the reason why I say they not gonna be president, number one, Trump is nothing, like I said, is nothing but a political amplifier. That's all he is. He's a political amplifier to amp up ratings. That's all he's for. He's the wattage, the electricity, the energy that he grabs because he's, put it like this, Trump is too blunt also. He makes more money than the president. So why would somebody that makes more than the president take a position of less money with more work? It doesn't make sense. That's actually backwards, number one. Number two, he's too blunt. He'll actually tell America what they finna do. While America, we know America is hush-hush. We just finna creep up on him. Trump, he would just blatantly say it out and won't care, right? He won't even follow script. So he would tell America secrets. If Hillary wins, right, because, of course, she's getting the majority of the black vote, we also know that we are not the minority. I hate when my people say we are the minority because we are the majority. So by that being said, we have the most voice. It's more of us than them since if y'all want to go back to slavery 400 years ago, because you got thousands of niggas and thousands of acres and maybe 100 Caucasians in the White House. I mean, in their little house. Come on, so we tripled them since 400 years ago and still make babies like rats. So this is what I'm saying. If Hillary gets in, then, okay, if she do get in, you know what other countries going to be like? Oh, they got a bitch running their country. They finna get fucked. They got a pussy running their country. They finna get fucked. We finna come over there and rape that bitch. You get what I'm saying? So that's just like,
they have other,
because it's a,
they got other countries ran by a woman though.
No, but not of this complexity. Somebody said that too. Not of this complexity, because America is one of the most. It has made its name bigger than Africa now. It's worth more than Africa itself now, because America raped Africa, and they raped everybody else. America did this. So, and we are the bullies. We like the number one. We ain't been fucked up yet. So, reason why I say that, let's just say if you running, let's just say on a man. First thing, men go into war. Groups of women don't go into war. So I forget what anybody say. On the battlefield, it's men. It's no women. We are the only country that put women into the battlefield. So that's backwards. So, like I said, men take countries. Men take land. Women don't do that. Women just follow and lead. Follow behind us. Take care of the kids. So that's why I say, when other men in other countries see that, they're going to be like, oh, that's a woman? Oh, well, we finna fuck the shit out that bitch. Come on, dog. You ready? So, like brother said, he mentioned if old girl get in there, it's just going to be another chop, like another disaster. Something going to hit us because, once again, we going to have a woman. But me personally, ain't none of them niggas getting in. Because something going to happen, and something going to happen to where it's going to cause a diffusion. On the radio, they're going to broadcast it on the radio saying, well, a catastrophe happened, an earthquake or woo-woo didn't happen, so we're going to have to postpone the election, blah, blah, blah. Something like that is going to, I don't know, but, man, I don't know.
Yeah, we ain't going to know until November, and once November comes, because we're going to do a show on November. We're going to be doing the whole broadcasting and our viewpoint of the election. We're going to keep it up to date what's going on. And we're going to see. We're going to do the whole thing live, and we're going to see who wins. We're going to do that live on the air. We're going to see what it is. Because since I already said that I think Trump was going to win from day one, I'm just going to ride it out and see what happens. But regardless of whoever wins, we still got to get our shit together as black people.
Right.
But thanks for the
Right.
call, you know what I'm saying?
Shalom,
call back
brother.
anytime.
Word, peace.
No problem. So, Smoke.
Yes, sir?
I got a question, man. Kaepernick taking a knee, right? Black people angry at him, right? Some, right? They call him mulatto. They talk about Chancellor Williams, the section of black civilization. So I wanted to read a part out of The Miseducation of the Negro that I found pretty interesting.
All right, bet.
All right, so they talk about, this is from The Miseducation of the Negro, Chancellor Williams. Carter G. Woodson. The appendix, this is towards the back, much ado about a name. So they're talking about the black part, but I want to get into the mulatto part. That was the best part. It goes, it is strange, too, that while the Negro feel ashamed of his name, persons abroad do not usually think of it in this sense. One does not find in Europe a number of West Indians and American Negroes of some Caucasian blood who do not want to be known as Negroes. As a rule, however, a European of African Negro blood feel proud of this racial heritage and delight to be referred to as such. The writer saw a striking case of this in London in the granddaughter of a Zulu chief. She is so far removed from the African type that one could easily mistaken her for a Spaniard, and yet she thinks only of her African connection and gets her inspiration mainly from the story of her people beyond the Pillars of Hercules. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, another part. The writer was agreeably surprised a few days later, too, when he met a prominent Parisian with the same attitude. He had produced several volumes in which he championed the cause of the Negro because he has in his vein the same blood. A well-to-do European woman, the daughter of a Dutchman and an African mother, a similar enthusiastic over her Negro blood. The first thing she mentioned in conversation with the writer was that black mother. The young woman expressed the regret that she did not have more of the color that she, too, might say as do members of certain groups of Africa. You know what I'm saying? So when people sit there and they wonder, like, why do the mulatto or the light skin, but mostly like the mulatto, always is more in tune and ready to fight, you know what I'm saying, or appear that way for the black cause, it's, in one aspect, it's like, well, according to the book I was saying, The Miseducation of the Negro, I have my own little spin on it. The Miseducation of the Negro, it's like they have pride for their black blood and their black side. But in my opinion, it's because in America there's no racial separation for mulattoes. So they're automatically pushed into the black category, so they're not. So they fight because they want to be accepted into the white society. That's how I personally. But so I feel like sometimes that's where that fight comes from, because you push them into the black side. So that's where the identification comes from. But if you created a section where it's like white, mulatto, black, I don't think you would see a lot of standing up on the mulatto side, in my opinion, historically speaking.
No. I mean, I don't know what to say about that, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like, for me, and I mean, I never thought about it in the sense of them having their own designation, you know what I'm saying? That's like that gives like a different perspective of it, you know what I'm saying? But to me, it's like, what's the difference, you know what I'm saying? If it's black, and we mentioned Kaepernick in the beginning, so it's like, he's mixed, but he's supporting the black movement. You know what I'm saying? The people that don't support it is not saying he mixed. I mean, he mulatto. You know what I'm saying? They treating him just like it would be if it was a dark skinned brother. You know what I'm saying? He identified himself with black. It's not like he's Rachel. It's not like he's Rachel Dolezal in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, or your boy, what's your boy on Facebook or Twitter?
Who that?
The white boy that be fronting like he's black. The Black
on
Lives
Facebook?
Matter one. Yeah, on Twitter he be on some shit like that.
He said he's black. He's not black.
Nah, he be on. He's the Black Lives Matter dude. And he's white, but he be fronting like. But people's asking like, "Yo, you black?" Maybe his name is Jason something. I can't remember.
You
don't remember that?
I don't remember.
Man, I can't remember who that dude name is, man. My whole thing is this, yo. When it comes to today's conditions, when in relation to the Netflix joint on 13, like what I always say, 20 years. Every 20 years. Go from now slavery, 60s, and 80s. Yeah, like I said, I always start from the 1900s. So for the 1900s, I count. It's 1901 to 1921. That's the extended time from Black Wall Street. For 1921, 20 years, that's 1941. That's World War II. So the reason why I'm labeling that, because from 1941, 20 years, that's 1961. That's the 60s. That's Martin Luther King. The whole purpose of the civil rights movement was because they felt like all the gains that black people made during the World War II, they lost during the 60s. That's what rose the civil rights. 1961 to, that's 20 years. Smoke. He must be out the range. I need some help with this counting. All right, so 60, 61. All right, so then you add 20. That's 80. So we already know now we're into the 80s, right? So now this is the whole crack shit, right?
Yeah.
So now we got another. Oh, yeah. Cause I'm like, I need some help with counting, man. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to unlock that damn phone. I went on mute. I'm like, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, so I'm at 1960s, right? So it's like 1960s. You're at 20, right? That's 80, right? That's 81. So that's the crack era, right? So now you add another 20. What's that? That's 2000.
2000.
Right?
Millennium.
2000. Right. See, 2000. That's when I tell people that's the metrosexual. That's the metrosexual. Whole body in the black community era. You know what I'm saying? That's really that whole era from the 2000s and shit. And then now we come into another 20. Now when you look at the Netflix 13, the 13th joint, now you got to the part where they talked about the year timeline from the 1970s, right?
Yeah, I saw the whole doc.
All right, so now peep this. They showed Nixon enacted the war on crime. No, the war on drugs, right, in 1970. From 1970 to 1990, you watch the incarceration rate go from 350,000 to 1 million. You see what I'm saying? And from 1980, when Ronald Reagan really enforced what Nixon enacted, that's when Ronald Reagan enacted the mandatory sentences that Clinton enforced. You see what I'm saying? So when Reagan enacted that shit, 20 years from 80s is what? 2000. 2000, that's when it was 2 million. Every 20 years they play the same game. That's what black people have to understand. Every 20 years is a generation, and every generation they attack. They attack every generation of black people. We don't get that because we keep thinking this is something new when it's not new. This is an attack that's been happening to us nonstop, continuously for the last 20 years. Every generation has to fight to stand up for their own. The only way for us to protect ourselves from these attacks is to build an economy. These white people know that. They know that. Now, one thing I will say is this, Smoke. If Hillary do win, then I will say that will be an interesting shift, and I will want into the mind frame of white society. Because I'll be wondering, like, okay, so what is y'all up to now? What is this up to? You know what I'm saying? That you can align with the majority.
Well, you know it's gonna be corruption because nothing but corruption surrounds her right now. You know what I'm saying? That's why when you just look at the the politics of. I'm talking
about society. I'm talking about white society. I'm talking about if Trump don't go in, if they said, you know what, we're gonna allow the media and emotion to dictate our decision on how to run the country, and we're gonna let Hillary come in and reinforce all of Barack's stuff that he enacted, and pick a Supreme Court justice, and possibly lose seats in the Senate and things of this nature because of this man, some emotional, media-driven conduct, then only thing I would say to black people is this, this is the time for us to get our shit together. We need to get business-minded now, White people done lost their mind. We got to get our shit together now before they wake up, Maybe they asleep. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Straight up. If Trump, that's why I took them 3 days off work, because when that election comes, if Hillary wins, then it's like, okay. But if Trump wins, I'm going to be like, I know, I told y'all have to pay attention to that silent majority. Y'all have to pay attention to the silent majority. I'm gonna say I have to pay attention to the silent majority. I'm gonna tell you that you have to understand that this is a racist country. It's always been a racist country. I'm glad y'all waking up. I'm gonna tell you. So let's keep the black, you know what I'm saying, power movement focused. You know what I'm saying? Watch out for police, because they will be able to get the thumbs up to murder us, straight up, because Giuliani is behind Trump, and we know what Giuliani did in New York. You know what I'm saying, Smoke?
Yeah, exactly. Rudy Jew.
Yeah, Giuliani's a prosecutor.
He was. We know.
Yeah, we know that. Come on.
Yeah, that's his history.
We know that. He might have him. He might have Giuliani head of the CIA. He might have Giuliani head of the CIA, like J. Edgar Hoover on some FBI shit, head of the FBI and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You know, he been angling for a big job for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Ever since 9/11, Giuliani been angling for that big job. So, you know, you can see that. I can definitely see that. That's crazy.
Wait. Remember, Giuliani was hated in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? Giuliani took I never forget this shit, right? This when I was in New York. I'll never forget this shit. Giuliani took the bodyguards off his wife and put more on his girlfriend. Do you remember that shit? I remember hearing that shit on the news, yo. I was dying. Because he cheating on his wife, you know what I'm saying? And he got his girlfriend, and the wife is, you know, they going through their shit, and he took bodyguards
like Gracie Mansion and all of that.
Some shit, I can't remember the whole story.
Yeah, wasn't something crazy.
It was some crazy shit, but the point is, not until 9/11. Once 9/11 hit, that's what made everybody look to Giuliani like he was some special person. You see what I'm saying? Prior to that, it was always fuck Giuliani. You know what I'm saying? Now, everybody's looking at him like
ain't trying to see no black man turn to John Gotti.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Ain't nobody was fucking with no Giuliani. So
yeah, he was in the middle of the original Stop and Frisk. That was him.
What?
That was his New York Tom.
Come on, man. So you're gonna have Trump. You're gonna have Trump, Giuliani, the back end of the FOP, Fraternal Order of Police. Fuck out of here! You crazy? Are you crazy? That would be fucking madness. You know what I'm saying? But like I said,
Carolina.
Yeah, but like I said, I'd have black people sitting over here like, yo, let's do our shit. You know what I'm saying? Like when we saying, yo, we need to keep our money in black business, then black people are going to be looking like, yo, you right. If we say, that's my only fear, that when Hillary wins, Hillary wins, right? Boom, she wins. Then it's like, yo, we got to keep our money in black banks. For what? Because, you know what I'm saying, so we can keep the money circulating in our community. My community, I'm American. We all one. On what? What are you talking about? We have to build our shit up like the Mexicans and the Jews and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you don't understand no more. You went back to sleep. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather be able to talk to it when I'm walking past a black person and I give them the head nod like, some bullshit, right? And they like, that's right, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know what it is. You know what I'm saying? We know what it is. when you walking and shit like that, and it's time for business and shit like that, it's like, ding dong, and you see a black man and a black man walk inside another black man business, and then it's like, you crack that smile, like, what's going on, brother? And it's like, hey, what's going on, brother? Yeah, this is my spot. Oh, I'm sending money to black man in this Trump era. You know what I'm saying? That's what's up. That's how it was with Bush, with the first Bush after Reagan. You know what I'm saying? That's how I remember it when I was a little kid, walking into the stores and they got the signs saying black owned. You know what I'm saying? And we had the Black Bart Simpson shirts, you know what I'm saying? And that's what really created cross colors, you know what I'm saying? Because we sitting out here and the white people went to their world and we had our world. And we was left to ourselves, you know what I'm saying? And that's when we started doing co-ops, you know what I'm saying? We had co-ops in our community where we would all have the vegetables and shit like that, and niggas would just be working there on, like, the humble, or, like, you know, let me get some food at least to bring home, you know, like shit, like community-based shit. And people, you know what I'm saying, like, it was more like community shit, even though, you know, you may not have had a lot, but you seen people more working together type shit, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I just feel like if we fuck around, because we come into another 20, if we fuck around and lose this momentum, I'm not even concerned about white people because we know how to deal with white people. I'm concerned when our master is Chinese or Arab or East Indian or Latino. That's what I'm concerned about because we didn't go to war with them. We didn't sign agreements like affirmative action with them. You see what I'm saying? We didn't do that. So if they don't give us quote-unquote jobs to work, we're not going to be able to feed our family. And like the dude said in Superfly, we're going to be stuck in a permanent criminal class. We're going to be stuck there. You see what I'm saying? And come on, man, we got to get out of that. Because being a criminal is being a slave. If the 13th Amendment is saying that you can be a slave under criminality. So if you can be put back into slavery as a criminal under the 13th Amendment, then that means you being a criminal means you're a slave. You committing crime makes you now a runaway slave. You are now a slave, which is why the police now is coming to catch you, to put you into slavery.
You basically fuel for the system, you know what I'm saying? You're the fuel that gets the system, you know, or you a joke. You know, the prison industrial system, and they spoke of it in the documentary, you know, and they show how the prisoners make the products for these industries that they're gonna sell at however many, you know, 1,000% upmark on what they got to, produce it for. And so, pretty much, you're getting locked up. You're making these products. Companies are getting rich off of you. It's just fuel for the system. You know what I'm saying? And so that's crazy, man. That's crazy. And to be stuck in that class, you're gonna always have to do that. You're gonna always have to be on the bottom. You ain't getting a job. You ain't getting no job. So you would have to create for yourself. That'd be the only way. That's the only way to counteract the effects of going to jail, being locked up. It's like, hey, you could be reintroduced back into your people's economy, where it's like, all right, if you were to go to jail, it doesn't matter. You don't have to ask, the oppressor for a job. You could come in and do it, but, just to stick to the point, man. Yeah. That's crazy.
See, the whole thing with me is it's like no business, no economy. You can't even play the political game. That's why black people always say voting don't work. Voting don't work is because this. This is how voting is. Voting is you playing your PlayStation, right? And you got Grand Theft Auto, right? And you playing Grand Theft Auto, but you're only playing by yourself, right? And everybody else describing what goes on and how fun it is online. And you like, I don't see none of that shit online. And it's like, well, you got to get the internet. But you don't got the internet. You know what I'm saying? So you're playing the game thinking that you're winning, but you're not winning. You're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not playing online like everybody else. So we're not really playing the game. We're just giving out votes. You see what I'm saying? For the paper trail. But we're not really playing the game because the game is not voting. The game is passing law. That's what the game is. The game is people having their money come together, and then you go into your Congress and your political men and your aldermen and your city councilmen and things of this nature, and then you're saying, listen, these are things that we want. This is what we want taught in our schools. This is what we want in our communities. This is what we want in our neighborhoods. Hey, listen, in this community here, anybody in this community, we can sell weed amongst ourselves in this community. We vote on that. You see what I'm saying? We can have weed, goddamn, not being searched by police in this neighborhood. You can't search us over here for weed. Y'all only search for murder, not for petty stuff like that. We don't sign up for broken windows shit. We don't do that over here, no, because we vote on that. You see what I'm saying? Because that's money. That's the community. That's the business people putting their bread and endorsing people. That's what we don't do. What we do is we put the voting behind people who get the money behind people that want to lock us up. So then we'll vote for somebody in, and then the other guy says, all right, listen, we want to tear down all them apartments over there and open up a Walmart. And then you like, damn, but that's gonna make these many people homeless. Yeah, but it's gonna give this many people jobs. Hey, y'all got some job opportunities? Yeah, this is a great job opportunity for the people. Yeah, this is great. And then when they're knocking everything down, you're like, oh shit, you knocked down my apartment. This is what I was living at. I didn't know he was going to knock down my shit. Yeah, because y'all not paying the people, so you don't even know what you're really voting for. These are the things that we have to stop. Another book I could have referred to is Booker T. Washington, Up From Slavery, because he speaks on the voting. W.E.B. Du Bois, he speaks on the voting, how he votes, and how he strategized with the voting and chose this party and that party and went into these other parties and independents and all kind of stuff and realized that, yo, it's not even worth it. And that's because it's never going to be worth it if you don't got money. You need money in the game. That's what you need, money. We don't put money in the game. We just vote. And then we wonder why we don't get nothing in return. Go ahead, Smoke.
No, that's real, man. Gotta get that economy going, man. That's the only way. That's the only way. I mean, we have to have capital to fund a lot of the shit that we need. You know what I'm saying? To build schools, to have structures, properties. You know what I mean? We need capital. One of the callers earlier spoke on, buying power, us being the biggest, spenders. And, having, spending $1 trillion. We spoke on that the last couple shows. The caller earlier spoke on that. So it's not so much that we can't acquire it. It's the fact is what we're doing with it. You know what I'm saying? So if we could be taking this money that we earning, because most of us work, we got jobs, whether it's in corporate America, it's hell, we got businesses. You know, it's people out. It's people out there that's making moves. You know, we're not just all struggling. But what we have to do is reinvest that in ourselves. So I think that's pretty much the issue. So, you know, once we could reinvest that into ourselves, then we could be able to, you know, we'll have that capital to be able to, you know, fund these things that we always say we need. You know, we always complain about education, but we don't got the schools. But how are we going to get the schools? We need to fund it. So, you know, and it's real simple. It's just reinvesting in ourselves.
Wait. You said it's real simple, but let's give the steps. Let's give some steps, because it's real simple, but then it's always said it's simple, but then it's never explained how to do it. Like, if it's so simple, it's like, but then how do you do it? So,
right.
You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, how you do that is you do reinvest in yourself. You reinvest in yourself by cleaning your credit, saving money, stacking money, investing money. You know what I'm saying? Everything varies depending on your situation. You see what I'm saying? And what you do is, when you're doing that, you start to see what type of business can you create, whether it's cooking, whether it's cakes, whether it's fragrances, shoes, you know what I'm saying, pants, clothes, soap, oils, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. You start to do that. You start generating money. You start generating money off of your thing like that. You start to slowly build you. You see what I'm saying? As you build in you will rise to other levels, meeting other people. And as you're connecting and meeting and moving, that's you making these moves. Then you can sit there now and generate and pull people together and say, hey, you know what? I got these 5 people that I done grew to know, or I done passed this information on to my children, so they're even doing it now. So I schooled them, so I'm watching them do it. But that's even later on. But let's say it's you doing it. You go and say, I generate these 5 guys that I know, and we all pulling our millions together, and now we have a hedge fund where we invest in other black companies around the black community. So now you're doing what you said other black people should be doing. But you have to start with yourself. And the first thing is, if you know how to generate $1 out of this concrete, like us black people know how to do, we are magicians. We know how to generate bread out of fucking thin air. Like, come on, let's not front. We know how to do. We don't need money. Stop letting these people tell you you need to go to a bank, and the bank ain't gonna loan you no money. Yeah, if you a hustler, you don't need no bank to get no money. You know that. And let me tell you a secret, and that's why it's important to get your credit together. Credit cards are bank loans. Straight up, credit cards are bank loans. You can get 3 credit cards for $5,000 on it. That's $15,000 loan. Credit cards are, with the cash advance. Credit cards are bank loans. So you don't need to go to a bank to get a loan. They're giving you loans hand over fist in America. They throw money out here in America. You see what I'm saying? It's just about what you do when you catch it. That's the question. You going to catch it and spin it, spin your power away, or are you going to grab that motherfucker and flip it? You know what I'm saying? That way you can give back what you caught and you got extra what you could do what you want to do, which is self. But once you're able to generate bread like we know how to do, then you're on your way to become everything that you want. But if you're sitting down saying to yourself what somebody else should be doing, and what if we all come together, and if we, don't do that. You're not French. So don't do all that we. Nah. Just think about you. Generate you some money. Build you up. Start flipping you some houses. You know what I'm saying? That's something else black people could do. Start fixing your house and modernize your own home, right? While you building your credit up, modernize your home. And then you look for another home move in there and rent out that house. Then you getting money off of that house while you in the next house, which help you pay your mortgage in that house. You see what I'm saying? This is America.
Yeah,
capitalism.
Yeah, a lot of low-cost properties around the country, you know what I'm saying, in our areas. I was just looking at apartments, and, you know, I'm looking at, you know, spots for, you know, all spots less than $100,000. You know what I'm saying? Hell, they had spots less than $50,000, $30,000. You know what I mean? To have like a small, you know, apartment where it's like something where you might be paying $700-800 a month for if you was renting it. You know, your credit is good. You can get a mortgage on there for $30,000-40,000, and you know the monthly payment on that is going to be less than $700-800. So you saving money and you have you buying it. It's yours. So you know that's definitely like, you know, something that those who might have like you know have their credit in order, or you just might have a lump sum of money. You know, $100,000, $60,000, $50,000, where you might could just say you could buy that property and, you know, buy it straight out. You know, whatever the situation is, you know, it's definitely something to look into, you know, because properties is, you know, low all over the country, you know what I'm saying?
But especially if we stand, see, because this is how black people have to think. We got to think about this game like, basically, black people, we got to stop hustling ourselves. And all the hustles we know that we do in the hood, all the hustles that we play on ourselves and all the tricks that we play on ourselves, we got to start playing that shit on white America. We got to start targeting white America. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. We got to stick these motherfuckers up. And here's the way. We know they dirty. These are some dirty, cruddy motherfuckers. You know how they get down. You see what I'm saying? So just imagine when the recession hit. I'm out here in Atlanta. I remember they had bills out here in Atlanta. Buy one condo in the city of Atlanta. Buy one condo, get another one for free. Can you imagine if black people put all this spending power that we have and we put a pause on that shit and the recession hit? And all black people had at least $10,000 because we saving our bread instead of spending our power. We saving it, and we had like let's say $10,000 on save amongst all of us, and then we seeing all this dirt cheap property, and we buying that shit up in cash, no mortgage, and then the economy got better, and now we all sitting on homes. That's appreciated homes. That's all, you know what I'm saying? That's on the upside of it. What is the word I'm looking at? All profit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all in the green. Like, god damn. You know what I'm saying? But that's being smart with your money, not getting your money and wanting to spin your bread all hot because you can't hold on to bread. You see what I'm saying? If that shit's 5, turn that 5 into 15. You see what I'm saying? Like we know how to hustle. But what happened is we like to celebrate too much. We got to sacrifice. We have to sacrifice. We have to understand we are in the middle of a war. We have to rebuild. We got to reconstruct. They bombed Black Wall Street. They burnt down Rosewood. You see what I'm saying? They infected us. They shot us down. They incarcerated us. They constantly attacking us. But listen, we can't sit there and scratch our heads and all kinds. No, we still got to fight, and we still got to build. You see what I'm saying? We still got to fight. We still got to build. We still got to. If they tear down our shit, we got to build that shit back up. If they burn down our shit, we got to build our shit back up. If they kill us, we breed more babies. You see what I'm saying? If they attack us, we fight back. You see what I'm saying? We got to get into the politics. That is part of the game. Everybody else is using that tool. But what happened is we got to start to get laws passed, and we have to start to get laws removed. You see what I'm saying? We have to get laws removed. We have to have black politicians inside these political game places where they play in these games at, where politicians need the black vote, and then they can say, well, listen, if you want our vote, then you got to remove loitering off the books. You need to remove the black codes off the books. Right. We want a legislation in our community where if black people's open up a business in the black community, they don't have to pay taxes there for at least 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Or some shit like that. Like, these are things that we can do, should be doing, especially in black cities. But we don't, because we got a minority mind frame instead of a majority mind frame. Go ahead, Smoke.
Minority instead of majority. That's some real shit right there. That's some real shit. But yeah, man, I mean, it's crazy, yo. We gotta get this shit. You gotta get that shit together and use our minds better than, you know, what we are. But I mean, with the properties, like we was just speaking on, you know, that's an opportunity there. And I mean, a lot of times you can see opportunities within, you know, what you might be doing in the day-to-day. It might be unique to you, you know what I'm saying? Something you like to do, you're an artist, and you see certain people in the area, they might need XYZ products or they need this service. So, you know, a lot of times you can just look around, you know, and what you do in your day-to-day and opportunities to make money and things like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's about, you know, promoting black business, creating black businesses, and, you know, and supporting black businesses. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what you know, it comes down to with us. Because at the end of the day, you know, as I was saying before, we need the capital to make things happen. And so, you know, we have to do that through economy.
Yeah, definitely. What's important is breeding that shit in our family, breeding that shit. You know what I'm saying? Teaching your baby to support black, teaching your baby to be entrepreneurs and get into that business thing. Encourage that. The same way we encourage our kids to get into cheerleading and sports and things of that nature, we have to encourage our children to be business leaders and entrepreneurs. Don't allow people to tell you everybody can't be a boss. Listen, I'm not worried about everybody. I'm worried about my child. I'm not worried about everybody, because we don't do that when it comes to basketball and sports. We don't do that, you know what I'm saying? So do the same thing for business, because that's what we need. We need more businesses out here. We need takeover out here. That's what we need. We need that. Takeover. You know what I'm saying? We need to be able to say, we're not going to support. We're going to boycott this corner store right here. And then they're like, well, we didn't do nothing to you. We're not racist or nothing. We didn't. It don't matter. Get out of our community. We're going to starve you out. When they close, then a black person go inside there and they open it, and then we support that business. Then we're going to see change in our community. Then we're going to see change in politics. Then we're going to understand what power is. You see what I'm saying? Then we're going to feel that shit again. Right now, we don't know what that is. That's why we spend our money frivolously, because that's the same thing we did during slavery. We got paid during slavery. I know it's shocking. We got paid during slavery. On the weekends at night, they went down. They brought some wine from the local dispensary store where the man will come with his trinkets on his little buggy. They'll buy their little stuff, and they'll buy their little alcohol and stuff. They'll dance and get drunk and stuff like that and spend their bread. That's how this shit works. You know what I'm saying? But we're about to get up out of here, Smoke. So you want to shut it down with anything? You want to say anything? You got a minute.
Nah, yo. I mean, let's stay focused, man. You know, regardless of who the president is, let's stay focused on building black power again. You know what I'm saying? All aspects of it. You heard?
All day, black power all day. You know what I'm saying? So until then, we'll see you next Friday. You know what I'm saying? Peace. Shit.
Word.
Not yet. Yeah, we still got 32 seconds, but yeah, man. But we gotta We got to build Black Power up, build the Black family up. You know what I'm saying? To build that pro-Black nation. We can do this, but we got to stop thinking that's going to happen quick and fast when it's not. These crackers plan on us is long and hard, and ours got to be even harder. So until then, we'll see you again. Peace.
All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.